Okay, welcome everyone. We need to get the business, first things first, we need to get the business of meeting electronically out of the way. So I'll make the statement, because of the ongoing pandemic and pursuant to the Governor Lee's executive order number 71, which extends the authority to conduct meetings electronically through February 27th, we are meeting electronically. I'll entertain a motion that we continue this meeting electronically.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. And I think I'll be calling the roll tonight just because it's easier for me to do that visually. Ms. Michelle Treese? And you're on mute.
Yes, here.
Ms. Beth Simpson?
Present.
Mr. Robert Williams?
Yes.
Dr. Ginger Carter?
Present.
Mr. Herb Greenlee? Oh, unmute.
Present.
Okay, great. Thank you. So having done that, we will begin our meeting with a moment of silence. Would you all join me? Thank you. Dr. Barnett has volunteered to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, which is always odd with these cameras when we stand up.
Yes, we'll stand. You'll hear me.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance
to
to the flag
the United States
Of the United States
of America.
of America,
Republic
to the republic
of
for which it
the
stands,
stands,
under God,
one nation, under God, indivisible,
for all.
liberty, justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Right now, I should be talking about the artwork on display in the back, but there is no artwork on the display. So we will adopt our agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. Do I have to do each vote a roll call vote, Dr. Barnett? I can't remember.
Yes.
Okay. So there's a motion to adopt the agenda as presented. And I'm just going to go as your pictures appear on my screen. Michelle Treese,
Yes.
Beth Simpson,
Yes.
Robert Williams,
Yes.
Ginger Carter,
Yes.
Herb Greenlee.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Dr. Barnett, do we have someone that's going to do an update on Science Hill tonight, or are we going to wait?
We do. We have an update. It's going to be started by Mr. Todd Barnett, principal, and now supervisor of middle grades for Johnson City Schools, and Dr. Josh Carter, new interim principal at Science Hill High School. By the way, there's artwork. If you come by the central office, and I think one of these gentlemen will probably say that, but there's some outstanding artwork demonstrating the talent of our students at Science Hill High School and the art program in the back of the boardroom. If you happen to come by for this month, it'll be there on display for the month. So, Mr. Barnett.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well this evening. Thank you for allowing me to address the board this evening. It's always a pleasure for me to talk about the accomplishments of the staff and students at Science Hill. This year is no different. In fact, Dr. Carter and I would like to take a few minutes to report how our staff and students have demonstrated remarkable resiliency and continued to perform exceptionally well under difficult circumstances. This report will be done in two parts. I'll talk about student and staff accomplishments in some of our extracurricular areas. Dr. Carter will report on our academic accomplishments. As you're well aware, we've encountered tremendous challenges related to the COVID-19 pandemic since we last reported to the board on January 6, 2020. However, I'm pleased to report that the staff and students at Science Hill have risen to the challenge and in many ways overcome a great majority of obstacles they have encountered on this journey. As a result, I'm confident Science Hill High School will continue to be an academic leader in our region and in the state. And I'll be talking about, like I said, some of the more extracurricular accomplishments, and Dr. Carter will talk about the academics. Science Hill student athletes continue to build on the tradition of excellence both on the field and in the classroom. Some highlights include boys cross country, finished the year as conference runner-up. Girls cross country, third place performance in the conference and the region championships, 12th place finish at the TSSAA state cross country championships. Along those same lines, if you haven't had a chance to see Jenna Hutchins run, I would encourage you to do so at some point before she leaves Science Hill. In my view, she's one of these once in a lifetime athletes that you get maybe once or twice in a career. Right now, she's a current Region 1 champion, large school state champion, current national record holder in 2 events at this point, and ranked as the #1 under 18 female runner in the United States. She's incredible, and I would encourage you to go out and watch her run if you get a chance. Our football team again finishes a state playoff qualifier. Our boys golf team, conference, district, and regional runner-up. Our girls soccer team were conference champions, district champions, regional runner-up, and a sub-state qualifier. Our volleyball team this year finished 28-6. They were conference runner-up, district tournament champions, regional tournament champions, state sectional champions, and state tournament qualifier. And an interesting sidebar, 7 members of this year's volleyball team made academic all-conference. We currently have about 60 athletes, former Hilltoppers, participating in college athletics at the next level. So I think that's a tremendous accomplishment on their part, and I think that speaks well of our coaches in preparing them. And most importantly, and we talk about this every year, most importantly, our most current GPA for all Hilltopper student athletes is a 3.57. It's a slight increase from a 3.51 this time last year and from a 3.35 the year before that. We're very proud of all of our student athletes and their coaches for their continued and consistent focus on academics. This year, I want to talk just a little bit about our ROTC program. We'd like to welcome Lieutenant Colonel Sean Dodge to Science Hill this semester. He takes over for our recently retired Lieutenant Colonel Scott Wild. The JROTC program at Science Hill provides a wealth of opportunities for students who want to be involved in positive extracurricular activities. Our JROTC team hosts a drill team, marksmanship team, robotics team, academic team, and fitness team. Our marksmanship team this year, led by Master Sergeant Ross, won first place in the advanced sporter category at the Tennessee statewide air rifle championships recently. In addition, during the past semester, our Science Hill cadets have participated in a number of community events. These include the Wreaths Across America initiative at Mountain Home National Cemetery, leading our Veterans Day ceremony on campus, and marching color guard in the Community Veterans Day Parade. Our ROTC program continues to provide a foundation for high-level experiences beyond high school, as this program has produced a number of military appointments and prepared students for successful endeavors beyond high school. Under the leadership of Lieutenant Colonel Dodge and Master Sergeant Ross, we expect those trends to continue. The most impressive part of this organization, and I think I said this last year, is that the events are planned and executed predominantly by the students themselves, with oversight from Master Sergeant Ross and Lieutenant Colonel Dodge. We're extremely proud of our ROTC program and the value it brings to Science Hill. Hilltopper students continue to serve others, even during times like the current pandemic, both in our school and in our community. Our Student Government Association, as an active body within our school and community, delivered 100 Thanksgiving turkeys and food baskets for Hilltopper families in need during the recent Thanksgiving holiday. This number was up from approximately 70 baskets last year. Additionally, in partnership with Second Harvest Food Bank, our staff and students recently distributed food to over 500 families over the course of 2 days. Our Random Acts of Kindness Club, led by Mr. Tracy Holman, provided gifts for approximately 39 children in our community and distributed them prior to our break. And our Topper Tech team continues to be an integral part of our school during the COVID-19 pandemic. So far this year, this team, consisting of only 3 members, closed out 397 work orders this semester. This group of students is critical to the smooth daily operation of our school. I want to talk just for a second about our library. Thanks to you, our Board of Education, and our Johnson City Schools Maintenance Department, we were fortunate to open our renovated library to students this school year. By all accounts, the renovation has been a success. The reimagined space has allowed for flexibility for a variety of meetings, classes, and professional development opportunities. The open design and flexible furniture arrangement allows safe, socially distanced gatherings in a comfortable, welcoming environment. Feedback from students and staff alike has been overwhelmingly positive. Thanks again to the Board of Education for your willingness to bring this project to life. Technology update. Little did we know the preparation for our teachers completed that led to our Chromebook deployment in the fall of 2018 would actually be preparation to continue teaching and learning in a pandemic. However, we're excited to report that student and staff use of technology to positively impact learning continues to grow and be strong. Thanks to the efforts of our teachers and their preparation, which included basically retooling their approach to teaching and learning over the summer, we've documented over 13 million Canvas page views through December 11th of this school year. This compares to about 3.3 million page views for a comparable period last year. In fact, our very own chemistry honors teacher, Elizabeth Bennett, led our district with over 444,000 course page views. So to say our students and staff embrace the challenge of effectively using technology to teach and learn may be an understatement. Again, I want to thank our Johnson City School Board, Dr. David Timms, Melanie Jrotc and her team, our teacher tech leaders, and our Topper Tech team for providing the tremendous support to meet our needs this past fall. Our Science Hill PTSA remains an integral part of our school with their ongoing support of our students and our school. Even during the pandemic, our PTSA, led by President Rebecca Horvath, has provided support to our teachers and students throughout the school year, and we remain very appreciative of their support. The Science Hill High School staff, as evidenced by the performance of our students during these difficult times, remain committed to engaging each student in a way that enables them to best fulfill their potential. They constantly seek opportunities to grow professionally and build their skill sets, as evidenced by what they have accomplished this semester. Their resiliency and resolve to ensure our students remain the top priority the past 9 months have contributed greatly to our successes. We're very proud of the efforts of this talented and committed group of professionals. As I conclude my portion of this report, I want to thank Dr. Barnett for giving me the opportunity to serve as principal of Science Hill High School for the past 3.5 years. It's been a tremendous honor to work with the outstanding administrators, faculty, and staff on the Hill. I can't begin to tell you how much I've appreciated being a part of such an exceptional group of educators. And at this time, I'll turn it over to Dr. Josh Carter, who will report on our academic accomplishments.
Thank you, Mr. Barnett. I'd also like to thank Dr. Barnett just for the tremendous opportunity to serve the students and staff of Science Hill High School. I'm very appreciative of that. And also a thank you to Mr. Barnett just for his leadership that he's provided at Science Hill, how I've been able to learn from him and just the guidance he's provided and the growth we've had at Science Hill under his leadership. We're all very thankful for that. As Mr. Barnett said, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the academic achievements that we've had at Science Hill. And I'm going to start by talking about our advanced placement program. Thanks to your continued support, the Board of Johnson City Schools, our AP program continues to not only grow, but to flourish. For school year 2020-2021, this school year, we added to our program AP Computer Science, AP French, and AP World History. We now offer 28 advanced placement courses within our curriculum. And just as a little bit of reference, we've actually doubled our course offerings over the last 4 years. So over the last 4 years, we've gone from 14 AP course offerings to 28. And this now makes us competitive with other high schools typical of our size, not only in the state of Tennessee, but nationally. And it also gives our students multiple opportunities to take advantage of classes that offer college level content within the safe confines of a high school classroom, and just gives our students a lot of great opportunities. Since 2018, 2019, the focus of our AP program has been on expanding access. We want to have access for all students in our AP program. And that's been our primary focus, is expanding access, not necessarily performance. However, we continue to see students perform at a very high level. And one of the markers we use is scoring a 3 or better on an AP exam. And for our 2020 exams, Science Hill had 64.9% of our students score a 3 or higher on the exams that we took. And that exceeds the national percentage of 62.2 and the state percentage of 59. So we outperform the state of Tennessee and the nation when it comes to scoring a 3 or better on AP exams. And we try to test 100% of our students. Our rule is you have to take the exam to complete the course. And it's also worth noting that all exams in 2020 were taken at home during closure. So those are just incredible results under such circumstances. Also for 2020, we had 136 AP scholars. And an AP scholar is a student who takes 3 or more exams and scores a 3 or better on those exams. So we had 136 AP scholars as compared to only 61 AP scholars in 2017. So I think that's great evidence of our growth in our AP program. 2020 was also the first year that we offered the AP Capstone Diploma or the AP Capstone Certificate. And for that school year, for 2020 in Tennessee, 97 students in the entire state of Tennessee received a Capstone Diploma. And there are 34 schools in Tennessee that offer that. Of those 97, Science Hill High School accounted for 14% of all Capstone Diplomas awarded in our state. I think that's a tremendous accomplishment. And in summary of AP, we continue to grow our AP program, and our students are continuing to perform at a high level. And I just want to reiterate, that success would not be possible without your continued support of our AP program, and we're just very thankful for it. We're also pleased to report that we continue to have great success with ACT and see positive ACT scores for our students. For the class of 2020, this graduating cohort, our overall composite score on the ACT is a 22.7. And just for some perspective on that, the state of Tennessee recognizes a 21 to be considered college ready. And the Tennessee average for the graduating cohort of 2020 is a 19.3. And the national average for the graduating cohort of 2020 is a 20.6. And again, at Science Hill, we're at 22.7. So, you know, all of that to say we're outperforming the state and the nation again in that marker, which we're very happy with. We have a goal to raise our composite score to a 23, and we're going to continue to work very hard to do that, to raise our overall composite score to a 23, and to continue to work to close gaps between our subpopulations. We want to continue working with that, and we've made great progress in that area as well, but we're going to continue to work the best we can there. And we believe, and this is based on research, we believe that the best way to reach our goals with ACT is to continue to provide a rigorous curriculum for all students at Science Hill, and we're going to continue to work toward that and continue our work in that area. We're also pleased to report that Science Hill High School had 4 National Merit semifinalists. And just for some perspective on that, out of the nationwide pool of semifinalists, that nationwide pool of students across America that are semifinalists, National Merit Scholarship semifinalists, that represents less than 1% of all seniors in high schools in the United States. So our four semifinalists, that's the top, less than the 1% of high school seniors. For quite some time, one of our stated goals at Science Hill has been to be one of the best high schools in Tennessee and to be competitive nationally. We set that goal a couple years ago. One of the markers for that goal, one of our measures, is the United States News and World Report rankings of best high schools in America. And I think we have some evidence that we're working toward obtaining that goal. Over the last 4 years, we've moved from 28th to 24th to 21st And this year, we were ranked 17th in the state of Tennessee, and that's all high schools in Tennessee. And originally, when we decided to use U.S. News and World Report rankings as a marker, we said we wanted to be a top 20 high school. And this year, we reached that goal as being 17. So now we're going to set our sights on being a top 10 high school and work toward that. Moving forward this semester, we're going to continue to focus on providing our students with the best education possible. You know, unfortunately, COVID has disrupted a lot of things in schools, and it has disrupted several things that we do, but we're going to work hard to ensure that our students are prepared to follow their chosen path when they leave here in May. This graduating group, one of our focuses this semester is going to be to make sure that this group of students, despite the disruptions over the past year, that they're going to be prepared to go on and do whatever it is that they want to do. And one of the things that makes that possible is our staff. We have an incredibly dedicated staff at Science Hill. They've worked tirelessly to teach our students remotely, to teach them in person, and to teach in a mixture of both. And I just can't say enough about their professionalism and passion that they have and the job that they've done over the last year. In conclusion, I just want to thank you, the Board of Johnson City Schools and our central office staff, for your vision, your support, and your commitment to excellence. Any success we experience at Science Hill High School is a direct result of your efforts, and we're certainly very appreciative of everything that you do. And at this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions, or I'm sure Mr. Barnett would be as well, if you have any.
Are there any questions for Dr. Josh Carter? I realize we have two Dr. Carters on, or Mr. Barnett.
Hi, Josh, it's Michelle Trace. I have a couple of questions. I would be interested in hearing about any gains that our marginalized populations have made over the ACT. I know that was a big thing we talked about last year. So I hate to say subgroups because it makes it sound lower than the rest, but marginalized groups, minority groups, are economically disadvantaged. And then second question, and this is for anybody, I know this past semester we had a lot of students who were not as successful as our some of the AP students and that we've seen in the past. So what are some of the measures we're going to take to try to catch those kids who may have fallen under the successful level to catch up for this end of the semester so that they too will be ready to go into college and be in line with everyone else? Because I know we had a pretty tough year this past fall with some of our marginalized populations and a lot of students in general. So what are some of those measures? Because as you know, I'm concerned about those kids as well.
Absolutely. If you go back a couple years, we've made significant gains in ACT. For instance, like in 2018, our African-American population, the ACT score was a 17.9. This past year, with this graduating cohort of 2020, it's a 19.3. So, you know, we're continuing to improve that. Our Black, Hispanic, Native American population was previously an 18.5, and in 2020 it was a 19. And when I say previously an 18.5 in 2018, it was an 18.5. This year it was a 19. So it wasn't as good as last year, but we're still on an upward trend of closing those gaps with our different student groups, no question about it. You know, there's different nationally scores were down for obvious reasons, but we're still seeing an upward trend in all of our groups. As far as plans for you know, addressing, because it has been, you know, a lot of students have struggled during the last year with COVID and closure and hybrid learning and online learning. Obviously, our teachers are working very diligently right now to try to fill in any kind of those gaps, especially courses that build on one another. So, you know, math or English or science where they build, we're going back and reteaching a lot of things. And some of our subject areas like world language, we're creating a new type of course that's going to begin by rebuilding some things that comes in like a level 1 course, so that in the level 2 course, they can move on and hopefully gain the information they need to earn that credit. We've got a lot more teachers that are doing some after school activities with Edmentum and with credit recovery, where we're trying to recover some of those credits that maybe students lost. We have a lot of offerings this semester remotely for remote credit recovery and also remote courses that the students can do after school hours with some teachers that we've contracted with to try to catch them up and earn some credits that they missed in the first semester. So those kind of offerings are going to be a lot more robust in the spring semester to try to get those kids the credits they need so they'll graduate in May, no question.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I have a question for Mr. Barnett. Probably. Well, either one can answer, doesn't matter. That was a great update on the extracurriculars. I did not hear anything about how fine arts are faring in this year, and I just would be curious in how the orchestra and the band are doing and what adjustments they've made this year.
Fine arts has been a challenge just because of the, with the pandemic. They didn't get to perform the number of times and at the level they would typically perform in a regular school year. Moving forward, I think Miss Oakes, Dr. Vermillion, and Miss Lambert are trying to make some plans to try to get some events back on track for spring semester and try to get our kids back more involved moving forward.
Any other questions? Mr. Barnett, I just want to say thank you for all the work you've done as principal of Science Hill. I think you've done an exceptional job. I've enjoyed working with you. I know you and I have been out there on Saturdays giving tours before, and so I just want to say thank you for all that work. And Dr. Josh Carter, we are excited to have you take over at the helm for the time being.
Thank you, and I appreciate everything the board has done for us.
All right, if there's nothing else, we'll let our Science Hill team go.
Thank you.
I do want to recognize that Mr. Hager has joined the meeting, and Mr. Hager, I just want to make sure that you understand we are meeting electronically pursuant to the governor's executive order.
Okay.
That was a visual yes. That brings us to our first real agenda item, which is first reading on policy 1.404, appearances before the board. I think Ms. Patterson is joining us. This is we had a special called meeting to discuss this policy, and what we see before us is the work from that meeting. I will ask Dr. Barnett this question earlier, and I'll ask it to Ms. Patterson now. What happens on meetings like this when it is hard to do public comment? Does this policy give us any room, or do we need to add anything to the policy about things like online meetings?
Are you asking me,
Yes.
Kathy?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think that this is a regular meeting, so I don't think you need a policy or a procedure that's different from a regular meeting. You want to keep these meetings as much in line with a normal meeting that would be in person. You could certainly, if you felt the need or felt like it was, if you had a reason for it, you could vote as a board to not have public comments during a meeting. But go ahead.
I guess that was my question. Does the policy, as it's stated, revised, give us the opportunity as a board to suspend public comment if it just isn't practical?
You can suspend any policy at any time. The board.
Okay.
Can. You have to have a 3/4 majority, but yes, you can suspend any policy at any time. So yes, you would have the authority to do that.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept this policy as proposed?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Is there discussion on this policy? All right. Hearing none, we'll go to a roll call vote. I will remind you all that you're muted, so you might have to unmute yourself to vote, but I'll do the roll call as you appear on my screen. Michelle Treese,
Yes.
Beth Simpson,
Yes.
Robert Williams,
Yes.
Ginger Carter,
Yes.
Herb Greenlee. Herb, can you unmute yourself? Or Melanie, can you unmute?
Yes.
There we go. Was that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Hager.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Motion passed. Thank you all for the work that you've done on that. We had no one sign up to address the board tonight, so there is no correspondence, delegations, or communications. That brings us to reports from the superintendent and staff.
Thank you. The first report tonight is a building projects update. Randy Trivet with the city usually does this, but Joe Barnes is going to be with us tonight to do the building projects update that you have in your packet, and then answer any questions that you might have.
I guess you're ready for me. I missed out when she promoted me. Good evening to everyone. Indian Trail, as you know, has been construction's underway. The grading for the building is completed and concrete footings have been poured and the block work is underway. They started the interior renovations on the special ed suite on the 21st of December, and I believe they got all those completed this morning. So they'll be starting back with that, beginning with the electrical. South side steel is just, it's just amazing to see what they've done over there. They completely dried in, the roof's complete, the units are set, the HVAC units, plumbing and electrical's underway. Woodland is underway. Well, the bid came out December 17th, and I don't know what I'm allowed to say about that. I'm sure Dr. Barnett knows what's going on with that. They were a little over budget, what was projected, but that they're working on trimming that out now. Lake Ridge is complete and ready to be bid. They hope to the end of this month or 1st of February bid it out. And Town Acres, they've set a contract with Beeson Luskin Street or Thompson Litton, which is the same company, to construct conceptual design for constructing those security screens. Anybody have any questions?
No questions for Mr. Barnes?
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Next report is the financial report ending November 30th, 2020, Leah Valley, and she'll have the next two reports as well. The next report after that as well.
Good evening. Revenues for the month of November totaled $5,922,000. Through November, local option sales tax was 3.56% above the previous year. November sales tax that we will receive in January, we've gotten the reports on, and it still looks to continue to be upward and above the previous year. So we've not seen a dip in that. Total revenues through November were up 2.11% from the previous year. The state of Tennessee did send us last week that we're getting an increase in our BEP due to them upping the medical premium allocation in the formula. So we'll see an additional $32,000. Expenditures for the month of November totaled $6,490,000, and that is 4.37% above the previous year. Fund balance at the end of November was $5,333,000, but that was the low point for the year. We're now starting to see that to start tick up. We're starting to see property tax revenue start to roll in. So During the month of December, we did receive the $100,000 LEA reopening and programmatic grant. That grant we use for the firewall upgrade and for the Partners in Digital purchase for the K-4 digital curriculum. We also received the connectivity grant funds. That was reimbursement for student hotspot expenses we've incurred, and that was a total of $56,250. The insurance fund had a balance at the end of November of $110,000. Through November, there's been a transfer of $360,000 above what was budgeted to be transferred for the year. Are there any questions on the financial report?
Hearing none, that is an action item. Is there a motion to approve the financial report?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? I will call the roll. Michelle Treese,
Yes.
Beth Simpson,
Yes.
Robert Williams,
Yes.
Ginger Carter,
Yes.
Herb Greenlee,
Yes.
Tom Hager.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Next report is update on sales tax, PEP, and also from Leah Valley.
Sales tax receipts through November were 3.2% above the previous year. At the end of November, the account had a balance of $4,442,000, and this is approximately $1,042,000 above the balance at the end of November 2019. Are there any questions on the PEP report?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe that's the end of reports from the superintendent and staff.
It is.
We have no unfinished business on the agenda. That brings us to the consent agenda. Were there any items that people would like to pull? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve.
I will second.
Okay. Thank you. I'll call the roll. Michelle Treese,
Yes.
Beth Simpson,
Yes.
Robert Williams,
Yes.
Ginger Carter,
Yes.
Herb Greenlee,
Yes.
Tom Hager. He said yes, and I guess I have not been voting on these verbally. I will say yes also. All right, there are no recommendations from the superintendent for action, nor new business. That brings us to information items. I will say in the consent agenda, there was the new committee assignments. I hope you all got a chance to look at that, and you'll be getting contacted about committees that you're on. If you're unhappy with any of those assignments, please let Mr. Barnett know or Dr. Barnett know, and we'll try to make some arrangements. Dr. Barnett, do you have any information for us on anything other than what's on here?
I do have a question that came from a board member that I'll go ahead and talk about. That I think is good knowledge for everybody. We had an email late on Monday from the health department that was very encouraging as far as vaccinations for teachers and staff members in the school system is concerned. Receiving that, we sent that out on last Monday through principals, and then on Tuesday morning, I felt like I just wanted to make sure we didn't miss anybody in staff here or at Johnson City Transit with our bus drivers who are transit employees. We had some conversation with the health department to make sure they were in the loop, and we were able to send out the link for staff members who are in most at-risk categories to register for the COVID-19 vaccine. Also, all other staff members had the opportunity to register for COVID-19 vaccine when it becomes available. I'm not real sure how many staff members, employees, specifically teachers, were able at this point to take the vaccine and have that administered, but we had several who were able to do so. The priorities come down from the health department, from the state health department. So those who are the highest priority were able to register and be able to go through and start receiving the vaccine as early, I believe, as last Wednesday. But I know we had several who were able to get the vaccine on Saturday. Was out and through that area behind Freedom Hall where they do the work, and had saw that line increase throughout the day, and wanted, you know, the nature of this vaccine is that it is, the shelf life's not very long once it's taken out of the refrigerator or the freezer with the Pfizer vaccine. So we were able to get a lot of our teaching staff who wanted that through, and really appreciate the work of the health department, the regional health department. It wasn't just Johnson City Schools, it was a whole region. It's a 7-county region. And we had a lot of people in our region were able to take either the Pfizer or the Moderna vaccine. If you have any,
That's great. Any
I can't answer, I will. Some people registered and weren't able to get through yet. It's probably good information for everybody to know. For instance, I registered, I haven't gotten a text yet. I'm not in a high priority group though. So I really would hope that as many of our goal was as many of our teaching staff and support staff, food service, everybody who's so important to making sure that we can have students at school to receive the services that our school systems, not just Johnson City, but the other systems around us also provide, was very important to get that out, get that information into everybody's email box, and to give them that opportunity if they wanted to take the vaccine. Had some questions from community and from the media about, is this something that's mandatory? And of course it's not. And as board members, of course, you know that. And that's something that would be mandated, like a vaccination for students. And as they come through school, it comes down from the State Department and through the state legislature. So there are a lot of staff members, a lot of teachers, a lot of other employees very interested in taking and receiving the vaccine. So we had a great turnout.
That's really good news. Thank you for that update.
You're welcome.
Did you get, I assume that transit employees will be, you mentioned them. I assume the answer was yes, they are included.
They are included. And just for clarification, if we have any employees watching right now who, and of course the recording will be available too for people after that didn't get to see it, but that's for all employees, all school employees. It takes everybody, you know, one of the things that causes the school and a school system to go remote and go to remote learning models when we just don't have enough staff members, or we have a spread within the employee population of the school community. So I think that we had a lot of employees in those high risk and some who were not in the high risk category who were able to get that vaccine.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Barnett. Are there any other questions for Dr. Barnett? All right, that brings us to committee reports. I'm going to guess that there were no committees meeting during the holidays. Is that a fair assumption, or does anyone have a report to give? I didn't think so, but we'll hit the road soon on committees reports. So thank you. And again, if you have any issues, or I do want to say out loud that all committee meetings are open to all board members. In fact, they're open to the public if they're a noticed meeting. So, but if there is a committee that you're interested in and you are not assigned that, feel free to show up to that committee meeting, and you should all get notifications when they come, because I know we're all looking for more meetings to go to. Any board concerns or board updates?
I have a quick comment. We're going to have budget. The budget, finance committee will be up, and we'll have a meeting very soon. And I know that many of you will be interested in that as we head into this next budget season, and with the monies that are coming in through essentially the second round of the CARES Act. We'll keep you in the loop and give you that information as that comes in, and provide a lot of that information to that finance committee. Also, with wintertime coming, and we try to do a safety committee meeting every 9 weeks or so. So we'll schedule one of those, I know, very soon. Go ahead and get that up and posted and noticed here in the next couple of days.
Okay, if there's nothing else, there's other information items and calendars in your packet. But if there's nothing else to come before this board, I will adjourn us. Thank you all for your time and your service.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
We'll see you next month, if not before.